I installed secret security cameras at home. At first, it was to catch some minor things, perhaps the misplaced keys or the occasional package left by the door. But what I discovered through those cameras turned my world upside down. My wife, the woman I trusted more than anyone else, was hiding something from me, something far more sinister than I could ever have prepared for. I remember the day I decided to set it up. I came home early from work, and as I walked through the door, I felt this strange sense of unease. There was something off about the way she greeted me, too perfect, too rehearsed. Little did I know, my gut was right. Something was happening behind my back, and it was far worse than I could have imagined. Before I reveal what I uncovered, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you won't want to miss how this story unfolds. Let's dive into the shocking truth that these cameras captured. Everything started with the smallest things. A phone call that she rushed to hang up. A text message she quickly swiped away. But then one night, I noticed something odd. She had a girls' night planned, but instead of her usual excitement, she was distant, distracted. I knew she was hiding something, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I decided to take matters into my own hands. It wasn't easy sneaking around to install the cameras, but I had to know. The paranoia, the suspicion, it was driving me crazy. I had to see what she was doing when I wasn't around. For weeks, nothing out of the ordinary appeared on the footage. But then one fateful night, the cameras caught something I would never forget. My wife wasn't alone. A man walked into our house at the time she had claimed to be out with friends. They didn't even bother to hide their interaction. My heart sank as I watched them embrace, and in that moment, my entire reality crumbled. As the footage played, I could hardly breathe. The man kissed her, held her close, and it was clear this wasn't a one-time mistake. This was an affair. My wife, the woman I thought I knew, was betraying me in the worst way possible. But that was just the beginning. What I saw next would change everything. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. How could she do this to me? To us? The man wasn't a stranger. I knew him. He was a coworker of hers, someone I had met a few times at social gatherings. It made it worse knowing that I had trusted him too. I watched in silence, my hands shaking as the cameras captured their every move. She looked at him with an affection that I hadn't seen in years. Their conversations were laced with intimate details, things I thought only we shared. The more I watched, the more it became clear. This wasn't just a simple affair. This was a full-blown betrayal of everything we had built together. But why? Why would she do this to me? What had I missed? My mind raced with questions, each one more painful than the last. The cameras recorded it all, the stolen moments, the laughter, the stolen glances. I saw everything. Every night they spent together while I was obliviously at work, thinking my life was normal. The pain of betrayal pierced through me, sharp and sudden, like a knife twisting in my chest. The worst part? She didn't even seem to feel guilty. She was careless with her lies, as if she knew I would never find out. It was in those moments I realized that this was no longer just about the affair. It was about the trust we had built, the future we had planned, and everything that was now destroyed. It wasn't always like this. When we first met, she was everything I had ever wanted. Smart, beautiful, and full of life. We shared our dreams, our fears, and everything in between. Our love felt solid, unbreakable. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. We became busy with our lives, work, responsibilities, and the everyday grind. Little by little, we stopped talking as much. The late-night conversations dwindled. The quiet moments of intimacy disappeared. But I always told myself it was just a phase. Life gets busy, right? But that excuse wore thin the more I saw the cracks in our relationship. The cameras, in a way, became my only way of understanding what was really happening. And once I started, I couldn't stop. Each new piece of footage revealed more than I wanted to know. Then came the biggest shock of all. One evening, after her girls' night, I reviewed the footage and saw her walking out of the house, looking more disheveled than usual. She was alone. I watched closely. As she walked down the street, she paused, looking around. And then, the coworker, the same man, appeared out of nowhere and they hugged. Not the kind of hug you give a friend, but something deeper, something more intimate. It was then that I realized she wasn't just having an affair. She was in love with him. And what made it worse was that she had convinced herself that this was something I would never find out. The moment of truth came when I confronted her. It wasn't easy. My heart pounded in my chest as I stood there, holding my phone, ready to show her the footage. "Why?" I asked, my voice trembling with a mix of pain and anger. "Why would you do this to me? To us?" She froze, her face draining of color. I could see the guilt in her eyes. But instead of confessing, she tried to deny it. She tried to make excuses, but nothing could cover the truth. The footage was right there, undeniable. The confrontation spiraled into chaos. She accused me of being paranoid, of not trusting her. But I had the proof. The truth was too clear to ignore. She had betrayed me, and now it was all coming out into the open. The next few days were a blur of emotions: anger, sadness, betrayal. I didn't know what to do or where to go. The woman I thought I knew was gone. The life we had built together seemed like a distant memory. In the end, I decided to leave. I couldn't stay in a house where the foundation of trust had crumbled. I packed my bags, took one last look at the home we had shared, and walked away. She begged me to stay, but the damage was done. There was no going back from this. I knew I couldn't fix it, not after everything I had seen. I had to move on, for my own sake. Months passed. I rebuilt my life, started fresh. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I learned that sometimes the person you trust the most is the one who can hurt you the most. But I also learned something powerful: that I was stronger than I thought. And no betrayal, no matter how deep, could break me completely. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you loved, you know the pain is like no other. But what's even harder is realizing that the person you trusted the most was the one keeping secrets. The truth is, sometimes the most shocking betrayals come from the people you least expect. I hope my story helped shed some light on the painful reality of trust and betrayal. If you've been through something similar, or if you want to see more stories like mine, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't let the lies go unnoticed. Keep your eyes open, trust your instincts, and always know that you deserve better. Thanks for watching. Until next time.